My stepfather called me worthless at graduation, so I saved his voicemail for the day I bought his dream house. My stepfather had this thing about putting people in their place. He'd moved in when I was 12, bringing his leather recliners and opinions about everything I did wrong. By high school, I'd learned to stay quiet during his lectures about my wasted potential. Graduation day, I was valedictorian. 4 years of perfect grades and sacrificed weekends. I'd earned a full scholarship to Berkeley and acceptances to 6 other universities. My speech was about overcoming obstacles, though I never mentioned the biggest one lived in our house. After the ceremony, families gathered for photos. Mom beamed as she adjusted my cap. My stepfather stood apart, arms crossed, checking his phone. "Aren't you proud?" Mom asked him. He shrugged. "It's just high school." That night, I was packing when my phone rang. His name flashed on the screen. I almost declined, but something made me answer. His voice was slurred. He'd been drinking since we got home. "You think you're so special," he began. "Walking across that stage like you accomplished something. You know what you are? Worthless. Just like your real father. All this college nonsense. You'll be back here in 2 years, pregnant and broke, just like your mother was." I stayed silent, but kept recording. "Berkeley," he laughed bitterly. "They'll chew you up and spit you out. You're not smart enough for that world. You're nothing special. You never were." I saved that voicemail. College was brutal, but I thrived, co-founding a tutoring app that drew investors by graduation. Mom updated me about home. My stepfather's construction business was struggling. He'd borrowed against the house twice and kept talking about his dream, a Victorian mansion on Elm Street. If I could just get that house, he'd tell anyone who'd listen, that's where successful people live. I never mentioned my company to my family. When TutorLink sold for 8 figures, the local papers ran the story, but my stepfather dismissed it as lucky timing. 5 years after graduation, I got the call I'd been waiting for. The Victorian on Elm Street was going to auction. The owner's estate needed a quick sale. I flew back to town for the first time since college. That morning, I toured the house. 12 rooms, hardwood, stained glass, everything he'd fantasized about. The auction was crowded. In the back corner stood my stepfather. Older, grayer, defeated. He kept checking his phone and whispering about financing. Bidding started at $200,000. At $450,000, it was down to me and a developer. $500,000, I called out. My stepfather's head snapped around. He stared, confused how someone my age could afford to bid. $525,000, the developer countered. $600,000. The room went quiet. The developer shook his head and stepped back. "Going once? Going twice?" the auctioneer called. My stepfather stood up, panic in his eyes. He'd finally recognized me. "Sold for $600,000. After signing the paperwork, my stepfather approached, confusion turning to recognition. That's incredible," he stammered. "I always knew you'd make something of yourself." I looked at him calmly, then I pulled out my phone and played the voicemail. His own voice filled the quiet room. "You're worthless, just like your real father." The color drained from his face. "This is where successful people live," I said, walking out. 6 months later, I moved in and framed my diploma in the front window where he'd see it driving by, wondering what might have been. Some people plant seeds, others just provide fertilizer.